Welcome back, AHS. I'm Beth Vaughn.
And I'm Kylie Douglas, and this is
The REZ. This week's episode is all about conspiracies.
A conspiracy is something that is made up to cover up the truth.
Some scholars suggest that people formulate conspiracy theories to explain power relations in social groups and the perceived existence of evil forces.
Some conspiracies are Area 51, the Illuminati, the entire story of the JFK assassination, Bigfoot, the fact that Skrillex sounds like messages from aliens, or whether aliens exist at all.
Some of these conspiracies we will never know, but let's go to Mariah.
Mariah, tell us what our school thinks.
Thanks, guys. So I went around and asked you guys about conspiracies. Here's what you had to say.
Do you believe in aliens?
I do believe in aliens, and I do think they will be discovered someday, you know.
How do you feel about the old lady living in your walls?
I don't know. She just makes noises sometimes, and she makes like that old lady stuff, and you know her.
You guys know about her? Well, she's been keeping it down lately, so I guess that we're getting along. It's okay. You know about her? How do you feel about the Bigfoot sighting in your backyard?
I don't know, it's pretty chill. As long as he doesn't eat my granola bars, I'm fine.
He's in my ground now.
I'm standing right next to him, so.
What would you do if you were abducted by aliens?
I would grow lots and lots of facial hair and destroy every single one of them.
If I was abducted by aliens, I would let them tear the world up and take all the other ones because they ain't about to take me by myself. They're going to take all the other people too.
Well, I would first off introduce myself. Come in peace. My name is Drake Bernal. I would like to make a rap music video with you. And then I just like twerk everywhere.
I'd play basketball with them to see if Space Jam was real or not.
Those are some pretty interesting answers. As for me, if I was ever abducted by aliens, it's obvious I'd be made their supreme overlord.
Okay.
Yeah, wow. Conspiracies are crazy at our school.
For your introduction of the week,
here's Masterpiece Theater.
Now it's time for Clark's Conspiracies. Oops, wait. Just conspiracies. Here's Clark, or that guy, whoever he is.
So you're going to be able to blur my face and cover up my voice, right?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, thank you.
I've come to reveal the truth to you, Alvarado. The government and media have been covering up all sorts of conspiracies and projects right here at Alvarado High School. This is the truth. Open up your eyes to the lies of the man. Coach Islam is actually part of a secret government alien tracking system. The first Alvarado UFO was sighted in 1980. A few years later, a man under the guise of Islam was hired at Alvarado High School to coach football or to keep track of the alien landing site by Alvarado Lake. The Nike missile sites are actually part of a secret government lab to create a biologically engineered super soldier. One of those soldiers is walking our halls today, Project X45, or as we know him, Coach Nicholas. Ever heard of the 800 Hall? I didn't think so. Well, the 800 Hall does exist, and it houses a powerful mind control weapon created by Coach Stevens. Have you ever experienced memory loss during an exam? Most likely because he's testing it on you. The device relies on cloud computing, forced by our cell phones. Ever wondered why your cell phone won't work in class? It's because it's being used by the mind control device. The name of this mind control device? Project SAC. Coach Andy Clark and Coach Aaron Clark are actually clones of Bruce Willis. This is part of a Hollywood plot to be able to create Die Hard movies until the year 2700. Mr. Graham is actually the actor that portrayed Buzz Aldrin in the moon landing hoax. He was immediately shipped to the Dallas area from the Houston soundstage, and eventually transferred to the Texas equivalent of Area 51, Alvarado High School. Mr. McGee is actually part of the secret lizard overlords that have been controlling the world since the Middle Ages. Have you ever wondered why he has to go to the admin office so often? To meet with district officials? No. To shapeshift into his lizard form. He reports back to his lizard overlords in the city of Austin. I believe we have a picture of him in the hallways, in his lizard form. The Alvarado A is actually a representation of the all-seeing eye. Illuminati confirmed.
This has been Conspiracies, brought to you by government control.
Now it's time in which we highlight the skilled,
The funny,
the silly,
and the talented.
It's time for this week's
Shenanigans.
Hey, did you hear moon rings are only $2?
We interrupt this broadcast for a startling revelation. The mood rings that the REZ has been selling these last few weeks are not what they appear to be. They are, in fact, tracking devices. Inside each ring's gem is a GPS that links up with the school's server so they can track you within a 15-mile radius. And the man behind all this? Mr. Neary. But for what diabolical purpose is this being done? We have yet to discover. He may be sent by aliens to track our movements, or by lizard people to map when certain areas are vulnerable. Our theory, those wearing a ring are chosen to be high commanders after the Illuminati-propelled uprising. Whatever the motive, we advise you to be wary and to keep in mind that $2 is a pittance fee for becoming a high commander. We now return you to your regular programming.
So the military ball was last Saturday. It was a closed and private event, so we sent our private investigator, Robert Rome, to get the inside scoop on that.
Robert.
Thanks, guys. Hey, Alvarado, I went to the military ball to get some insider information on exactly what goes on during that evening. This is what I got.
Colonel Spencer, what does tonight mean to the Alvarado JROTC?
Well, for the cadets and for the parents and the teachers and the administrators are here, it's an opportunity for the cadets to highlight themselves and an educational environment. This is not an extracurricular activity. This is actually a learning experience for the kids for how to act and perform and what to say at a formal presentation and a formal evening.
Because formal presentations can be carried on throughout their lives, correct?
That's correct, but for most of these young men and women, this is the first time or first opportunity they've had to attend a formal function, and for them it's a great learning experience.
But it's not all formal, is it? We do get to have a good time, correct?
That is correct. After the formal portion of the evening, and that ends when we retire the colors and play taps, then the kids have a DJ here to play music for about 3 hours, so they have some fun time at the end.
Dr. Estes, what are you looking forward to most about tonight's events?
Well, what I like the most or look forward to the most is just seeing our students in such a classy event. They carry themselves very well, and I think they make Alvarado High School, Alvarado ISD very proud with how they conduct themselves.
Are there any surprise obstacles that you didn't see before you took the job as the new superintendent?
Well, that's a great question. I would say right now I don't know, but in education you just never know what could happen, and so no, everything's been fine so far.
Things are still over the horizon. Well, thank you, Mr. Estes, and have a fantastic evening.
All right, thank you very much. Sure.
How do you feel about being the guest speaker tonight?
I feel relieved that I can get sleep now. That's probably the best part, and knowing that I don't necessarily have to worry about. I know everyone here isn't going to judge or anything like that if I do bad, because they know that I'm just a cadet like them, so it's fine. I'm not really that worried.
So a brief summary of what you were wanting to tell them tonight.
What I'm wanting to tell them is that the opportunity they have at JROTC is unlike any other, and also that don't be happy with just being mediocre. That nothing really ever good comes from that, and just push as hard as you possibly can to get whatever you want in life.
Because being in ROTC opens up a lot of new opportunities for these cadets in the future, correct?
It does, actually. I earned, I know, a sizable scholarship just for being in JROTC to go to Texas A&M.
It's like, wow, that's crazy. People were pop locking and dropping it so hard, I barely got out alive. See you back at Langley, folks.
Thanks, Robert. Sports this week are out of this world. Wait, or are they?
That's right. Sports this week are out of this world. Last Friday, varsity girls played soccer against Argyle. Here's some highlights of that. Unfortunately, they lost 5-0. Boys also played against Argyle, so let's see how that went down. Sadly, they lost 2-1. On Monday, JV girls played soccer against Birdwood. Unfortunately, they lost 1-0. Boys played against Granbury on Tuesday. They as well lost 5-0. Guys played against Paris and Kennedale yesterday, and we'll have more on that next week. And tonight, both guys and girls are playing basketball at Kennedale. And guys are playing soccer against Abilene Wiley, so be sure to come out and show your pride.
Keep fighting hard, Indians.
Thanks, Ryan.
I love hearing how our Indians are doing.
Speaking of Indians, let's go to Indian interview time.
They were singing, my, it's Indian interview time, where we interview some Indians and have a good time. So sit back and watch this interview time, 'cause it's Indian interview time, Indian interview time.
Welcome to today's edition of Indian Interview. I'm your host, Coach Horner, and today we have the pleasure to have with us Dr. Stevens here. He's a local doctor here in the community of Alvarado. Welcome, Dr. Stevens. How are you today?
Who brought the fish?
The fish? Yeah, it's just a fish, goldfish.
No one told me there was going to be a fish here.
Well, his name is Guppy, I think. What's his name? Chief. Chief. His name is Chief. Guppy.
Chief.
Guppy was the prior fish.
Sounds autocratic to me.
Yeah, it's a fish. Doctor, tell us a little bit about your background. What's your specialty being the doctor in town?
Truth.
Specialty is truth. Okay, so for your patients, truth. That makes sense. Makes sense. Do you specialize in any kind of knees, hips?
Truth.
Do you even know anything about the medical field?
Divine medical field.
Philosophy. Is that what you're a doctor of?
Truth.
So I know a little bit about
freeing your minds from being enslaved by the government.
Okay, so we have a government emphasis in your background and expertise. What exactly do you have a degree in?
Multiple things.
Multiple. Define multiple.
More than one.
More than one. Less than?
A few.
Less than a few. Okay. Specifically, obviously you have some tie to the government in your degree. What exactly
I'm not
is that
tied
in?
to the government.
Your degree is tied to the government.
My degree is in investigating the government.
Right. So government is one, political
Sure.
science. Is that right?
That's what the lay people call it.
What else?
Economics.
Economics. That's
Chemistry.
two. Chemistry. So you're not a real doctor. A real doctor as far as seeing patients and all that, how the general public would perceive you. What do you do within the school system?
Free kids from their slavery.
Do you teach them?
Teach them what?
I don't know. Do you corrupt them with anything?
Corrupt?
Yes.
Socrates is accused of corrupting the youth.
Soccer is?
Socrates.
Socrates.
Yes.
But you're are you a soccer coach?
Sure.
That's what I'm understanding. Okay, so now that we know a little bit about your background, I guess we could say we know. Conspiracy is a theme for today's interview, so I think we have an expert here to tell us a little bit about conspiracy. So can you first define what conspiracy is briefly and your stance on conspiracy?
Conspiracy is a misnomer.
Are you like sitting away from the fish on purpose?
The fish you cannot trust. Anything that does not require oxygen to breathe is untrustworthy.
Are you the only doctor on campus?
I'm probably the only doctor of reality you'll ever truly get to meet. And that's really what I want to go back to is it's not conspiracy, it's truth.
Okay.
And it's a truth that sort of, once you engage it, your life changes. And sort of things that you never thought about before, sort of, it all becomes real. For instance, all these wires you see around you, all right, you now, after you sort of engage in seeking truth, understand that these are connected to the intrawebs. And the intrawebs are connected all over the world, all over the galaxy perhaps now. And we're controlled by sort of singular entities whose ideas are being perpetrated onto us, and we're living as an experiment for the reality that they want to choose.
Do you have a book?
I have multiple books.
That you've written?
I have a chapter in a book I've written.
Chapter? I want to know what your thought is on just some common conspiracies, okay? Starting off, Elvis and Tupac, where are they?
Argentina.
Argentina.
Listen to Tupac's final record backwards. First 3 measures says, I love the ocean.
Did we land on the moon?
Simple question for you. Space vacuum?
A vacuum?
Yeah.
We usually clean our floors with vacuums.
Well done. Space is a vacuum.
Oh,
all right.
yeah, I see
so
what you- yeah, I see what you did.
my question then is, why are there ripples of wind and the flag blowing in the wind on the moon in the vacuum of space? You know, we could spend hours and hours, and I could really teach you, but it's all about asking those questions. Second question, I like that.
There, right?
Second
There's
question.
No wind.
Second question. Why is the flag blowing? Second question I like to ask you. Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon.
Pink Floyd.
Wizard of Oz.
Another singer. I bet he could dance.
Wizard of Oz, Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd. You put it together.
Okay. Let's move on. Next question. Area 51. Aliens, UFOs. Do they exist?
Yeah, see, I usually get this question on these types of interviews. And so, you know, there is clear evidence that this crash happened. There is documented proof of alien autopsies. If you go to Roswell today, you can see the crash site. All right? Satellite photographs all over the place give clear evidence that this my question is, with all this evidence, why do we even treat it as if it's some sort of myth? Right? I think it's abundantly clear. And let me ask you this question. How many presidents have we now had total?
43.
Bush was 43. President Obama
44.
is 44.
We'll leave it at that.
Put that together. Is that, again, it's either a coincidence
Hey,
that
that's
we've
pretty
had
good,
44.
though. I knew that off the spot. Yeah.
It's either coincidence that we've had 44 or it's not.
I got you. I believe that your responses are very intellectual, some maybe over the capacity of some. So I'm going to go down a different level.
Why do you have a
to the
spear on your shirt?
It's our logo here.
Weapon is your logo.
Yes. Des Bryant's catch, or not a catch?
Again, start with a question. When is the autumnal equinox? Then, when is Roger Goodell's birthday? Then answer the question, how many words exactly was the State of the Union address last night?
And all that
I think you'll see the numbers there, plus the lottery numbers we had from 1975 in Texas in January. You'll start to see the link, and you'll understand that Roger Goodell actually called in after that play and told them to change it.
Interesting. I've had two things, common threads here. One, you live a double life. And two, you're somewhat robotic. Maybe alien comes into play, not sure. But we have some questions that I want to ask you regarding that, and see where it goes. All right? Do you have a watch?
Of course.
Obviously, you have a watch. Does it have a laser?
Of course.
Of course. It's not common that you have a laser on your watch. Why do you say
Common
this?
for whom?
Okay. Number two. Is it true?
It's not common to have a fish on an interview.
No, it's very common.
Or an empty
It's
coffee
very
cup.
Common. Well, not the coffee cup, I understand, but the fish is very common. All right. Is it true that you are piloting a mind control device on our education system? 'Cause that's the rumor.
The rumor?
That's the rumor. That's why you're here. No answer? We'll see. It doesn't work on me, so just quit looking at me like that. Number 3. I guess we know our answer. Do you like the movie Rocky IV, or are you disturbed by the outcome?
All right, I gotta go. That's athletics. I am disturbed by the outcome.
That's athletics. All right, obviously we've got a very unique individual here in Dr. Coach Stevens, whatever we call him. So that concludes today's Indian interview. Have a good day.
Anyways, now it's time for this week's general announcement.
The theater is having a production, The Drowsy Chaperone. Here is a trailer to that.
The Alvarado High School Golden Arrow Theater presents Mix-Ups.
What is off?
Mayhem. A musical within a comedy. The Drowsy Chaperone. January 22nd through 24th at 7 p.m. in the Alvarado High School Theater. Tickets are $3 for students, $5 general admission.
Looks great. Tonight is the All Region Jazz Band Clinic / concert at TSU.
The Fall Sports Banquet is this Monday at the Cleveland Civic Center. It starts at 5:30.
The one-act play auditions are in the theater Tuesday and Wednesday at 4 p.m.
And the Future Freshman Night is Wednesday at 6 p.m.
Well, that's all for this week, AHS. Keep that purple pride alive. Until next time, I'm Beth Vaughn.
And I'm Kylie Douglas, and this is
The REZ.
I didn't even do it.
I didn't know I was supposed to say the REZ.
We gotta start all over with that again?
And
Dang it. Oh, so close. Okay.
This week's episode.
Lies. Sorry, I got a text message. Threw me off.
It's all about conspiracies.
A conspiracy is a theory. Dang it.
Had memory loss. Dang it.
Yeah, I was like trying to get through it.
I was so close. It's a long one. All right.
Yeah, that's bad. What's wrong with it? Thanks, Robert.
Sports are, is that?
Alright, come back from Robert. In 3. Hold on.
I'm going to reveal to you my top. I forgot the number. Dang it.
Yeah, it's right there. You gotta look at her.
Okay, I didn't know. I was confused. Cause
the Indians are going fast. That is gonna be my sports soon.
Go. Colt, that's you.
Oh, my bad.
I like it a lot. I'm talking, and you're waving your arms in circles like an orangutan.
No. No.